Hey guys, what's going on? What's Melon back again. Before we begin, just make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. This is a new channel, and my old one, I very well might have that deleted. So make sure to subscribe to this one. Check if you're not. I please ask that you do. And then the second thing is I woke up with a sore throat. I probably have COVID, and so I'm trying to get this out of the way before my voice completely dies. So stay with me, and hopefully you guys do enjoy. So I made a video on my old channel previously. Let me take this out of the sleeve, that I'm not picking up graded cards anymore. Had to make some exceptions. I have a few that I bought on PWCC, but I got this off of eBay. And this was under $100 for an SGC 10 Gemini Elf. I think it was 89 plus 5 shipping. So with tax, it was a little over 100. But I mean, I love SGC. They're one of my favorite grading companies. I know they're not super popular, but they even updated the slabs to perfectly fit Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I like. And so I wasn't particularly looking for this card, but it's an absolutely stunning card. It's the original uncensored Ultimate Rare Gemini Elf, released in 2001 before Yu-Gi-Oh even came to the TCG. So this for around $100 was just a no-brainer for me, and so pick this one up. Had to make an exception. At this price for a gem mint copy, I think it's cheaper than a raw copy, so picked it up. Very happy with the pickup. And even though, sometimes I try not to spend a lot of money on things that are impulse buys, but I really had to go for this one. It was just too good of a pickup to to not go for. So let's get into some of my purchases. There was TCG player bonus bucks, and so I bought a ton this month. I spent like 5 times what I normally do in a month on cards, maybe more than that. And so I have a playset here of the Dark Hole Dragon. I talked about this card a lot in my previous video, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking more about it. I mean, in the last 2 years, I can't think of a card that I think is a better looking card than the Quarter Century Secret Rare Dark Hole Dragon. So picked up a playset here. I already had one right here, so I have 4 now total, and I think these 3 I'm going to put in my main binder, which I very rarely add new cards to my main binder. I had to make an exception because this is just such a stunning card. If you haven't picked it up already, I would highly recommend it. I just think it looks insane. So getting into my raw pickups, I have some pretty nice stuff. And generally, I wanted to talk a bit about Rarity Collection too. Let me just grab a stack of these things so I'm able to handle them a bit better. But basically, Rarity Collection 2 is a bit, I don't know if controversial is a fair characterization, but I think a lot of people are a bit upset with the card pool, the rarities, etc. So I wanted to give some thoughts on that. Before that, I've been picking up a couple of foreign, or when I say foreign, I mean TCG non-English cards. So one of these is, this one's German, Deutsch, and then we have Italian. So picked up 2 European copies. Very, very beautiful. I love the foiling on this thing, and I mean, they were like $3.50. It was a no-brainer for me, and I really want to pick up more TCG non-English. It's something where I feel like a lot of cards are not selling super well right now. The market has stabilized quite a bit, but I think the velocity of sales is not what it once was, and so a lot of these foreign TCG cards, so non-English TCG, have just been sitting in sort of boxes and stuff, and so I'm happy to pick them up, and they're usually a bit cheaper than English, and so for beautiful cards like this, pick some up, and I have more on the way as well. Not of this card, but more ultis in non-English. But with Rarity Collection 2, I'm just generally a little, I don't know. Rarity Collection 1 left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I'm all for reprints. I'm a huge advocate of reprinting cards. It's the only way that players can actually afford to pick cards up. The thing I don't like is when they print cards that are supposed to be in high rarities and then they reprint them in nearly identical rarities. The reason I don't like that per se, and even though I'm picking up cards for a lot cheaper, and that's always nice, is because it decentivizes people from buying high rarity cards because they expect that they're just going to be reprinted in a nearly identical printing. That's bad because it means that it's harder for card shops to sell sets I'm not someone who buys a ton of sealed. In fact, I rarely buy sealed, if ever. And it's a little unfortunate because the lifeblood of, the TCG are the players first and foremost, and then the card shops where people play. And it hurts the card shop significantly, and so that's why I don't think it's a great idea to just reprint stuff, because then it sucks the life out of new sets because they can't print things and chase rarities and expect people to buy them unless they're very, very playable. And so you rely entirely on the playability of cards. When you do that, then it essentially leads to power creep out the wazoo, and then the game progresses at a speed that I don't think is necessarily healthy. And you often have cards, because you can only update the rules and ban lists every so often, you have cards that stay in a toxic state for extended periods of time. And so I don't think that's healthy for the game when you're really relying only on playability. So that's really my opinion on Rarity Collections. I think they would have been awesome if they just used Prismatic Ultimate Rare and the Platinum Secret Rare. I think the new version of the Platinum Secret Rare in Rarity Collection 2 looks pretty awesome. And so if they just had that and Prismatic Ultis, and then they also had, Secret, Ultra, Super, I think the sets would have done really well. It would have been great for the number of reprints, and still there would have been chase rarities that are new and people want to go after. I think they overloaded the set, and I've said it before, Ghost from the Past 2. Look at that set and tell me that that wasn't overloaded at the high end with Ghost Rares. Because once they printed that set into the ground and they had so many high-end Ghost Rares, it just took the entire gas out of the system, because you printed so much of it. These cards are everywhere. How are you going to try to sell a Ghost from the Past 3? You're never going to be able to repeat what a SDK art, Blue Eyes, and a Red Eyes, Dark Magician Girl, Cyber Dragon. It's just not possible. And so that's my take. I think that they need to slow down a bit when they're doing these sort of sets that cater to collectors a bit more, because collectors can't buy everything all at once. You need to spread it out over some time, and I think they have not been great about spreading it out. And Rarity Collection 2, it came out, 6 months after the original one? They saw how well the original one did. They said, let's cash in more, and then released a set that has a set list that I don't think people are as happy with. Firewall Dragon completed my playset here. This is an ulti. It had a quarter-century secret rare, which I think you guys will see coming up. But I do like this OTS Ultimate Rare quite a bit. I think it looks quite nice. Let me try to adjust the lighting a bit. See if that's a little better. Maybe I'll do this here as well. Anyways, very, very beautiful card. So I'll finish my playset there. We've got Alchemist of Black Spells. This was actually, I bought a near mint on Limb. They sent me a lightly played first. Pretty similar price, and so I just, said about it, or not said about it, what am I saying? I just said, whatever, doesn't really matter a whole lot. Beautiful, beautiful card, although I showed this one, or other copies of that off in previous videos. Fifth Hope, I remember this used to be an expensive card. It has all the original elemental heroes on the artwork. It's an ultimate rare. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful card. I got this for $8 on TCG Player during the bonus bucks, and near mint first edition, that's not bad. There are a lot of cards like this where I remember them being quite a bit more expensive, and then when I looked it up finally after years since seeing its last price point, pretty affordable. $8 for a first edition ultimate rare in near mint condition is not bad. Pops quite nicely. You've got all the original elemental heroes. I mean, I'm a GX guy through and through, and so I'd love to see cards like this. I might pick up some more of that. That's a beautiful ulti. So I think that's all the ultis I picked up already. Then I'll get into some more cards that I picked up. Odin right here. I'm actually going to send this one back. I bought it in supposedly near mint condition. It's in a sleeve, so you can't see all the damage, but you can see some of the significant scratching already through the sleeve. So and there are other problems with the card, so I didn't think it was a great example of a near mint card, and so The seller, when I sent him this, he was like, I can offer you 20% off. And then I looked at the lightly played, and lightly played was like, almost, I think it was like 60% of near mint. So I was like, I'll send it back. That's the TCG player lifestyle. You're always going to end up with stuff like that. This is a pretty awesome one. I know this is not the original print, but Dark Beginning 1, I just love these old school ultra rares. They pop quite nicely. Even though this has a much more subtle foiling than most, Big Shield Gardna is, I think, a pretty iconic Yugi card. And so this completes my playset of this card from DB1. So wanted to pick it up. I haven't been the best about picking up some vintage stuff, and so I tried to get a couple of cards that I've been looking for. This is a example of a card from Genesis, or what was it? Genesis Impact. Card that was a collector rare. Pretty, expensive as a collector rare. Then they reprinted it in Rarity Collection 1, so the original collector rare lost like all of its value. So this was very, very cheap, if I remember correctly, maybe like $5. So I picked it up. I do prefer the original collector rare, even though this doesn't have great foiling. I definitely do prefer the original collector rare. It just looks much, much nicer than the prismatic. I hate the sparkles on the prismatic, and they pop right off. I showed it in my previous video, but I don't know what they're doing on the quality control for those prismatic collector rares. Next collector rare completes my set of Dark Honest. This one actually arrived with damage, so I contacted the seller. You can see, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's pretty sizable indent on the back of it. Not a huge deal. This is a binder card for sure, but oh well, it is what it is. I don't think the foiling's too great on Dark Honest either, but you live and you learn. Next up, this is a set that Toon Chaos First Edition, man, it's just, Toon Chaos really set the tone for what a modern set should be. And I never saw the collector rare foiling for Chaos Valkyria. I'm trying to collect all the cards from Toon Chaos First Edition, or a lot of them. It's a set that they were so expensive for so long, but now they've kind of lost a lot of their luster. But to someone like me, where Toon Chaos was one of the main sets when I first got back into Yu-Gi-Oh, I was trying to get hyped up for sets. I think Eternity Code came out. It was cool, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. And then Toon Chaos dropped, and I was excited for the set. I was obsessed with it, and for good reason. It was the first set with collector rares, and now that they've come down so much in price, I can really appreciate how awesome these collector rares actually are. And so I'm trying to pick them all up. This was $20, I believe. Back in the day, this would have easily been like a $60 card, so it's come down to 1/3 its price, and so that was a good buy-in for me. So I have Chaos Creator, I have Chaos Valkyria, I have Chaos Emperor Dragon, I have Chaos Daedalus. So I think I have all the Chaos monsters besides Blackluster Soldier, which is a huge hitter. I think that's still like $200. So I don't know when I'll pick that one up, but Toon Chaos First Edition, that's a set that holds some sentimental value. That was very beginning of the pandemic, and I'd just been sent home for my last semester in college, and so it's just there wasn't a whole lot to do, and so and all my classes and stuff were moved online, which is a huge mess, but it meant that I had a lot of time to think about hobbies that I really never had before, and so that was Yu-Gi-Oh for me, and Toon Chaos was the subject of a lot of my interests for a couple of months, and it still is something that I really, really like. This is another card that I bought it for lightly played. It has indents on the back. I won't bother showing this one, but contacted the seller about this one as well. A little disappointed. Injection Fairy Lily is one of those cards that, such an iconic card, but the foiling in the secret rare I don't think looks that great. I think this could have been if it had more foil on the card art, I think it would look insane, but with the subtle foiling it has right now, I can't say that I'm the biggest fan. Next up, we got Chaos Emperor. I bought a lightly played hoping it would be an original copy. This is a 2017 reprint. And it is actually lightly played. You can see there's like some crap on the sides here. I don't know if it's being picked up super well. And I think there's some stuff on the back maybe. I don't know. Anyways, with these like 2017 reprints, it's always, you know, they're not differentiated on TCG Player, but this looks very, very different. Like if you look at the secret rare on that versus this, maybe it doesn't if you're not like a vintage collector, but I was hoping for the original print Chaos Emperor Dragon, ended up with the 2017. It is what it is. So I'll sell this one and keep hunting for Unlim reprint or original print. Next up, we've got some quarter century secrets. I'll just saw a couple of these off at once. Firewall, Galaxy Eyes, and Dark Magician. I really, really like these quarter century secrets from the tins. I think they're pretty underrated, even though they were printed into the ground. I think people are just going to come back to them and say, wow, that is some real value for the price point. Like this card is like, what, $5-6? Say what you say about not being able to read the name super well or what have you, but I think this is going to be something that people go after for some time. Like there's going to be real demand for these quarter century secrets from the tins, and they're super, super cheap right now. So I'm trying to get play sets of most of them, all the ones that I'm interested in. Next up, I will finish my playset. So this is one, the other hasn't arrived yet, of Book of Lunar Eclipse. I love this Starlight. I think it's insane. Super, super happy to pick this one up. And so this is one that I've considered putting in my main binder. I ended up not doing it, but every time I look at it, it's like the green goblin mask. It's calling me. I really want to put it in my main binder, but the problem is it's full, so I need to take something out in order to put that in, and so it's tough to make those decisions. And then some sellers send me the promo sealed. I got some red eyes as well, and so I have even more of those coming. Like I have a Stardust coming as well. So that's all my pickups, and then I'll just show off some of these cards because I need to buy more binders because I'm running out of space to actually put my cards into places, because I reorganized my binders so that I have a separate binder for just ultis. It's, you know, and I have ultis in other binders as well, but that's just a pure ulti binder, which meant that I ended up with a lot of these like new cards. Ignore the Darkhold Dragon, but these like prismatic ultis and collectors. I don't know exactly where to put them right now, like this prismatic ultimate rare, prismatic collector, ulti collector. So I'm still figuring that out. And then also all my secrets, I took them out of a binder. I need a new binder to essentially organize these. I still love them a lot. Like looking through them, especially, man, Light End Dragon and Divine Neos, I think they're both not too expensive in Unlim, but they're both just such beautiful cards, especially Divine Neos. When I picked these up, they were $10 or under, and that was, you know, back when prices were higher. So this might be a very cheap card at a crossroads of chaos, which is a set that it's not the easiest to find. Chaos Goddess, really cool card. This is one that, like, there's certain cards that maybe they're not playable per se, which I don't think this is too bad, but like this would be a card that'd be cool if it was in Rarity Collection too. I think there would be interest in this card. Even though maybe it's not playable. Sometimes, like, there are cards like Trish in there that have so many reprints, you can get an accessible option, and it has high rarity. So another Trish and all these different rarities, how is that different than something like Chaos Neos, or not Chaos Neos, Chaos Goddess, that doesn't have these high rarity printings? I just think it would be cool. Tardy Orc, Sheeden Lord, or more Tardy Orcs. And then D-Boys is a classic. If you don't have D-Boys, get on it. Miracle Wake, and then a playset of Time Machine. So I'll find a new binder for these secrets, and we'll see where it ends up. But hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. It's been your boy, Watomar Melon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.